Hi, my name is Eric Wood. This presentation is a quick introduction to how Google Groups can be used as a forum/collaborative inbox for us to communicate about various things that might come up around the chapter. It does require a sign up, but it's currently set up that anybody can join. After joining the group, the first screen that you're going to land on is a list of the conversations in the group, kind of in reverse date order with the newest stuff on top. On this particular screen, you see one's kind of highlighted. That's one I have not read yet, and then the two down below it already have been read. If you want to see the detail, all you do is click on one of these messages. After clicking on the message that Cherry had posted, you're taken to the details. You can see the content here. To the bottom, you'll see that there are these reply all, reply to author, and forward buttons. Typically, you're going to use reply all, and if you do that, that'll allow you to reply and stay within this particular conversation. After pressing the reply all, you'll kind of get a box. It looks a lot like a new email. You'll see your address here at the top, what conversation it's in reference to, and then you just type in whatever comments that you want and hit post message. One of the really useful features of having your messages in Google Groups is the ability to search previous conversations. In this case, I've typed Kitbox up here into the search bar, and you can see it found that one that we were just looking at that Jerry had posted of Bob and Chuck getting that dirt strip ready to go. While using that Google Groups website we were just looking at as a really convenient way to interact with the list of conversations, create and read messages, and so forth, it's not the only way. You can also interact directly with your email client if you choose. That way you don't have to log into the website every once in a while and take a look. This, what I'm showing on the screen right now, is an example of how you would start a new conversation. Basically, just send an email to this address at EAA1445@googlegroups.com. Your subject is whatever you want to be the subject of the conversation, and your content. Once you send it off, it'll appear on Google Groups. This screen just shows what that message would look like that was sent from the email client from within Google Groups, their web interface. You can see it's just up here at top like anything that was created with that new conversation button. We went ahead and clicked that. It would go ahead and take us right into that message, and you'd see the content very much like it was with the other messages. This screen just gives you an example of what it would look like if you chose to read messages via your email client instead of using the Google Groups website. Let's see, I'll get the pointer going here. You can see it's just a regular inbox. That message comes in, and then over on the right would be whatever the person had typed in for their message. Replying to a conversation from your email client is just as easy as starting a new one. If you've got that message in your inbox like we were showing on the last slide, all you do is hit reply like you would with any other email message. It'll automatically pick up the reply to address as our Google Groups, and the subject that you're responding to, just type in your comments in the body of the email and hit send. This slide just shows what that response would look like inside the Google Groups web interface. So that wraps up the basic functionality that's available for creating and responding to messages. This next section is just going to cover the process of actually joining the Google group. First, I'm going to go ahead and show what that's going to look like, assuming that you already have a Google account, and then afterwards we'll go through the process of creating a Google account if you don't already have one. To get started, you can navigate to groups.google.com, and along the top you'll see that it has some text that says My Groups. You go ahead and switch that to All Groups and Messages. Once you've selected All Groups and Messages, just go ahead and type in EAA 1445, press Enter, and it should show this result below. So once you see that result, go ahead and click on EAA 1445, and it'll take us to the next screen to where we can join. From here, just go ahead and select Joining the Group so that you can get access. The next screen lets you set how often you get emails telling you about activity inside of our group. You can set that to never. In that case, you just go to the website when you want to see new messages. You can also set it to every new message, which is the default. So every time somebody adds a message, you'll get a copy in your email. And there's a couple other options too. You can change this at any time, so feel free to experiment around. There's no way to really get it wrong. After picking your preference there for the subscription, just click the Join Group button down there in the lower right-hand corner. That's all that's involved in joining the group. Now you're all set to create and respond to messages. As I've mentioned a couple of times, you do need to have a Google account, not necessarily a Gmail account, but a Google account in order to sign up for one of these groups. The next little section, the last section, I'll just kind of walk you through the process of doing that if you haven't already. So the first place you go to create that account with Google is accounts.google.com. Some of these links will be at the very last slide of the presentation, so you don't have to worry about keeping track of this stuff. But you'll be presented with a login screen where you can sign in, but on there is a create account button. So go ahead and click create account. I think for most of us, the correct choice will be for my personal use. This next screen is where you would type in your information for the new account. You'll see that initially it assumes that you're going to create a Gmail account as well. You probably don't want that if you're here, so click use my current email address instead. Next screen is where you go ahead and enter your name and the email address that you want associated with this new account. You also enter a password. This is the password for your Google account, not the one for the email account that you are associating it with. So it doesn't need to be the same, probably should not be the same. Go ahead and put in a good strong password and select next. Google's going to go ahead and send an email to that address that you just entered. So give it a minute or two, check your inbox, and you'll get a message. When you do, it'll have a 6-digit code. Go ahead and type that code in here and press next one more time. Once you've entered that confirmation code and gone next, it's going to ask you for a phone number. I looked on the Google Sports site and they indicate that this phone number should be optional, but I couldn't figure out a way to get by. So I went ahead and entered a phone number here, one that can receive text messages, and then press next. After you entered the code that they sent to your phone, they're going to ask for your birthday. I'm not a New Year's baby. I just always put that there, and then my real year. Don't know why, but that's just the way I go. That tells them anyway that you're not a juvenile, and then you have the option, of course, filling in a gender, and again, press next. This next screen gives you the option to get more from your number. You can go ahead and read all about that if you want. I will go ahead for the purposes of this demo and press skip since we don't need it for this account. The last of the screens here is their terms and conditions. Go ahead and scroll down to the bottom of that and hit I agree, and you'll be taken to the final congrats screen. And that's the end of setting up an account with an existing email. At this point, you're all logged in. You can go ahead and switch over to the groups and then sign up for our chapters group as we described earlier. Well, thanks for making it through the end. Here's just a last slide with a couple of useful links. The top one there will take you straight to our group. The second one is the one that you would use if you need to create a Google account. And then the third is just the email address if you want to, after you've signed up, you want to go ahead and start a conversation by just emailing that address. And thanks for your time.